Good morning, YouTube. It's your buddy Choppadong. I am coming with another video to show you how to pinpoint value and high floors and point production and things like that out of hockey skaters on a Tuesday morning. Hope you all had a great 3-day weekend. Hope most of you that play NBA decided that NHL is the better sport and you're going to stick around for a while because that's the way I feel. But anyway, let's jump in and talk a little bit about where to look and where to get started. We had a couple of questions in the VIP room in dfsarmy.com. If you don't know me, I am a coach and contributor at dfsarmy.com, and we get questions and we get commentary in there all the time. The community really builds itself up, lifts itself up, and newer players learn how to play appropriately, and us coaches, we love teaching you guys how to look for certain things and whatnot. And I got a question about value and how to spot which lines are producing and how to kind of target an offense. We've got a decent sized slate today of 9 games, and we've got a few games we're going to automatically target. Here's how I found that. The first thing that I usually do is I go to vegasinsider.com or RotoGrinders starting lineups page, or some of the other places that you can go to find the Vegas odds on a given game, find the heavy favorites, because I'm looking for goalies. When I see minus 190 or a minus 170 or a minus 200 or something, I'm going to start looking at that goalie, and I'm going to take a peek at how strong I think the chances are that he's going to win and how high scoring is that game going to be, because I don't necessarily want a high scoring game against my goalie, but I do want a great chance at the win. So it requires a little bit of back and forth, but really and truly you can get it pinned down pretty quickly to 3 or 4 goalies that you're looking at for the night, and you can usually pick a goalie within, say, 5 minutes. When you're looking at line production, it gets a little bit more difficult. The first place I go is leftwinglock.com, free website, and I'm looking at NHL line production. I find it under the skaters tab. I scroll over here to line production. You can check the line combos tool out too. That's pretty cool, and maybe in another video we'll break that down. But line production will show me which lines are scoring goals and which lines are giving them up. If I go, I like 3 game and 10 game samples, and I look at the forward combos. I click submit, and I pull, say, the top 10, top 25, whatever entries to the top, and I'm looking for all of the goals for, and I write those down. And what I'm going to find tonight, if I open it up to, say, 25 entries, Toronto 2 has scored 4 goals in their last 3 games. San Jose 3, Columbus 2. I'm starting to write these down. Winnipeg 1. Toronto, there's a second Toronto sighting. The second Winnipeg sighting. There's a Florida sighting, Florida 1. Scroll down a little bit more, there's a second San Jose sighting. So the hot offenses are San Jose, Winnipeg, and Toronto right now. I'm starting to watch for, there's even another Winnipeg line. Now I'm going to kick over to goals against, and I'm going to start looking for who's giving up the goals. Okay, Toronto 2. Florida 1. Columbus, what's that, 3? And Columbus 2. Uh-oh, Columbus just hit twice. Pretty high on the radar. So Columbus is in a spot where they're giving up goals. That means their opponent tonight, New Jersey, should be in a good spot to score. Now, I'm going to want to see New Jersey do some scoring before I jump on that chance, because, I don't care if, say, my St. Louis Blues were giving up 10 goals over 3 games, and we were all freaking out thinking, oh, the world is just imploding. And if they went up against, say, the local junior Blues hockey club of the 16 and unders, well, they aren't going to give up any goals. They're just too good still. I need a decent offense going up against a bad defense to really get excited about it. Otherwise, it's just still kind of a wash. I mean, it's possible, and I'm going to look at it, but I'm not all that excited about it. When I see a hot offense go up against a soft defense, then I get excited. Like we saw Winnipeg in here, in the goals for 3 different times. If I saw Winnipeg go up against, say, the New York Islanders, I'd be pretty excited. As it is, I'm going to keep scrolling down here, and there's the second Florida sighting. So, Florida and Toronto might be a good matchup tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to broaden out this search just a little bit. Now, it's your job to go through and write these down. And the way I do it is I literally write down, Florida and then versus Toronto. And then I start marking that over the last 3 games, the Florida 1 line has scored 3 goals. But the Florida 1 line has also given up 3 goals. So I've got an offense and a defense column. And I wish I could show you. I do it on pen and paper. I don't even do it on the computer. That way I can look at the computer and look at my paper at the same time. And what I'm noting is if Florida 1 has scored 3 goals and Florida 1 has given up 3 goals, that's good offense and bad defense. And then I look at Toronto and I find that Toronto 2 has scored 4 goals and given up 3. Toronto 3 line has scored 3 and doesn't hit the radar in the short term. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick over and I'm going to show you something. We're going to go to the 10-game sample. And I'm going to open that one up to 25 entries as well. There's Toronto and Philly and Toronto again. Toronto has 2 of the top 3 lines, Toronto 1 and Toronto 2. Philly has a good spot. Go down here, Florida's in a good spot. So over a 10-game sample, over a 3-game sample, they were already hitting our radar. Over a little bit more sustainable 10-game sample, they're hitting our radar right up at the top. There's the second line in Florida. So I've got Toronto 1, Toronto 2, Florida 1, and Florida 2. So let's kick over to goals against. Florida 1 is scoring goals and giving them up. Toronto 2 is scoring goals and giving them up. Toronto 1 is scoring goals and giving them up. Oh my God, green light. Green light, green light, green light. You see how I found that? My day is virtually done. My research is almost complete. All I need to do now is dig into Florida 1 and Florida 2, Toronto 1, Toronto 2, a little bit of Philly, a little bit of Columbus, maybe a little bit down the road into Winnipeg or something like that. My offenses are targeted. I just need to go into our research station and figure out who's doing the shooting. So if I go into Florida 1, I mean, granted, you're going to look deeper into this. Don't get me wrong. You're going to want to survey all the teams and make sure that they're all in good spots or which ones are and which ones aren't. Go through, do the work. Put in the time. Do the work. That's how you're going to get better at this game. Any DFS game is not push a button, click an optimizer, and just run them all through. That's why I like hockey so much. It's still hard. There aren't a lot of optimizers out there, and those that are, the projections vary so wildly that it's not easy still. So we actually have to put in the work and dig into the numbers, and that's where nerds like me should have an advantage. Other than the randomness of the sport, which, you know, makes luck level things out somewhat. But when I look at Florida, because we liked them, their top couple lines, and we liked Toronto's top couple lines, let's see if the numbers verify that. I dive into our research station here at dfsarmy.com, and I look over 9 games played over a 21-day sample, and I see 11 goals, 15 assists on 92 shots. Hello. That's pretty nasty stuff. 11 goals, 16 assists on 90 shots. I mean, this is 2 offenses that over 10 games are running good. I look for the players that are doing the producing. You know, I can't even pronounce his name. We'll just call him Jughead. 1 goal, 6 assists. The 6 assists are nice. He better be cheap. 4,700. Okay, he's cheap. Over, 23 shots. It's the shots I don't like. When I see the shots, I want to see the number up here. This is only over 9 games. If I want to prorate this over 10 games, I add 10% to that number. 10% of 3.8 is about 4. So it's really 41 or 42, shots on goal. And I know technically it's shots plus blocks, whatever, but that's our proprietary stat. I'm just calling it shots. I'm not giving everybody out all the good information. 5 goals, 6 assists on 38, 41 shots. For 7,400, it's a little pricey. I need to compare him with some other 7,400 players. There's a 7,900 player in Austin Matthews. 5 goals, 7 assists on 34 shots. So really and truly, that one's splitting hairs. Another thing I can look to is our DVP column. Looks like Toronto actually defends centers fairly well. It looks like Florida doesn't. Toronto's also the home team. I might lean Matthews here for the $500. But if you came at me and said, I'm running Barkov with a top line stack, I'm not going to argue with you. Could happen. This game of hockey comes down to splitting hairs. But if you came at me and said, hey, I really like Ryan Johansson tonight. 2 goals, 7 assists, 24 shots, 6,200, and he's the away team. And the DVP's okay, but I'm going to be like, man, I don't know. If you tell me Zetterberg on 19 shots is a great play at 5,900 when Nashville defends the center well, I'm going to tell you, I don't know. Focus on the numbers that matter. 5 goals, 6 assists, 38, 40-something shots. Yeah, the DVP matters, but not when a guy's producing like this. He can still tear them up. You know, run down here to Trocheck and for even cheaper, 7,400 versus 6,900. Save yourself $500. Get yourself 4 goals, 5 assists for 41, which is actually 44 or 45 when you prorate it out to 10 games. This is an offense you want to be focused on right now. The first line has 92 shots on goal. The second line is 89. They are shooting the puck. And to be quite honest with you, if I jump over here to the matchups line and I scroll down to Florida and make sure it's not the very first line. Florida and Toronto. Let's see what the Corsi against is for Toronto. 27th in the nation or in the league. 60 shots per goal. A Corsi number is a shot directed at the net, okay? It's not a shot on goal. If it went wide, it still counts as a shot. If it got blocked, it still counts as a shot. If it deflected up and went to the glass, it still counts as a shot. It was directed towards the net. And Toronto is allowing, bottom 5 in the league? Shots against? Hello. So when I've got a team, and you know what? The Corsi against is middle of the road for Florida as well. I'd like to see Florida shooting a little bit more. I mean, I really want to check all the boxes and tip everything my way. I want to see high shots and high shots allowed, and I want to see, you know, again, high shots allowed here and then high shots here. But what I've really got here is Toronto allowing a lot of shots. So when I go back to the projected lines and I look and I see 92 shots and 89 shots against one of the worst teams in the league at allowing shots, I love the spot Florida's in. I know they're on the road, and that might, you know, temper expectations a little bit, but on paper, they're in a phenomenal spot. Okay, that's just roughly how you're going to find this stuff. Yeah, you have to walk through all these games. You have to determine whether or not 105 shots, holy Jesus, 18 goals and 16 assists, that line's running wicked hot. But you need to come over here and determine whether or not Columbus is worth attacking tonight. And 114 shots versus 105 shots. I mean, this game, 102 shots. You want to talk about an offense pumping shots on goal or shots at the, you know, these are our shots on goal, but you want to see a team that's really pumping them in. There you go. You got Seth Jones. There's not a lot of production, but he's got a high floor, 50 some odd shots, you know, in 10 games. You got this bottom line here, which is still cheap, low fives, mid fours, producing 4 goals, 11 assists, 102 shots on goal. I mean, stack it up. You're not going to go wrong. Your problem is going to be your 9-game slate tonight. You're going to scroll down here and you're going to go Montreal not shooting much, out. Philadelphia shooting some but producing a lot. Okay, I like them. If I can go against them, another plus-minus rating column and DVP are two things that we look at. When you're a minus 11, you're giving up goals and you're not scoring a lot. So if I've got a team that is a plus and is scoring a lot of goals going up against a team that's giving them up, I like Philly 1 tonight. That's how you identify that. I look at Tampa. Now, it takes time. I mean, I walk through this stuff slowly before I ever jump on a video, obviously, so that I'm at least a little bit prepared and can get this stuff out, you know, fairly quickly. But you walk through Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is producing. Washington is a little bit of a minus, but that might not be as good of a situation as this one. So I might lean more to this situation. I might not end up coming down here and paying these kinds of prices for Tampa Bay or Washington tonight because they're just not facing as bad a team as I'd like to see them face. New Jersey also with all of the shots in Columbus. I'm going to be focusing on this game today. Then I scroll down here. I'm definitely going to be focusing on this game today. And then we scroll down here, and Nashville's on a back-to-back facing Detroit. Detroit's kind of crappy. Maybe Nashville's in a good spot, but being on a road back-to-back, maybe they're a little bit tired. Plus, some of these guys haven't been scoring as much lately. The 1 has been great. The 2 has fallen off a little bit. The defenders usually do a lot of the producing in Nashville, so maybe I do look into a little bit of that. If the price is right compared to what I find elsewhere, I doubt I'll be looking at any Detroit tonight. San Jose's been producing. They got 3 lines that have been producing. Going up against St. Louis is a little bit scary because St. Louis tends to block shots. How do I know this? I follow this stuff every day for a couple of weeks, man. And the numbers just stay the same. When you've got good defensive numbers, it puts a little bit of a hindrance on the opposing offense. So while San Jose looks great on paper, they're going up against a tougher defensive team, so it's a little bit of a downgrade to them. They're also on the road. A little bit of a downgrade to them. Does that mean St. Louis is in a smash spot? No, St. Louis isn't scoring goals either. Look at this, 6 goals, 8 goals in their last 10 games. That's like 1.4 goals a game on these top 2 lines. That's kind of crappy for fantasy. I don't want to touch that. LA Kings back-to-back going to Winnipeg. Winnipeg scores a ton of goals at home. Good road splits. LA's been producing lately. Could be the kind of situation where if we can find out Winnipeg's given up bad defense, then LA's in a pretty good spot. Could be a shootout spot. Again, you got to look into it. You've got to dig into these numbers, and you've got to think about these numbers. What's that telling me? What's that number mean? What is that telling me? And that's when you're going to start getting good at this game. Boston and Edmonton, probably not a lot of interest in this game. Boston's very expensive on the road. Edmonton, I mean, maybe a bad defense. They're not hitting my radar yet. I haven't dug deep enough yet. Colorado and Vancouver, I probably have no interest in that game whatsoever. So I automatically know where I'm going to be spending my time today. And I'm trying to tell you where you should be spending your time today. Now, I'm not going to give you all the answers. I'm not a spoon feeder. I'm not here to, hey, play this guy and play this guy and play this guy and tip by PayPal. Bullshit. That's cheating. That's crap. That's scammers across the internet that don't have any accountability. They just run off and change their Twitter name and do it again. Screw those guys, man. You don't want to follow those guys. You want to learn the game. If you enjoy the game, you want to dig in, you want to learn the game. I'm here to teach you how to play the game. I'm a coach and contributor inside DFSArmy.com. If you don't know me out on Twitter, I'm Chopadong. Follow me out on Twitter. Interact with me out there. Retweet my shit. Let's engage. Let's talk back and forth. I will show you a little bit of what we do inside the VIP program of the DFS Army. I will show you how we come up with some of our numbers because my ultimate goal is to get you to do the same thing so that I don't have to teach you anymore and I can move on to the next guys and teach the next guys. I like teaching people. Now, I've got some more shit in my head, as you can tell, that I could ever put out on paper in a given day. And so follow me. I'll keep spilling it out there for you, and you'll keep learning. Interact with me one-on-one, in a group, whatever. We'll talk. That's what I do. That's what I enjoy doing. Okay? I love hearing guys say, man, I've turned it around. I've become a better player. Thanks for the help. I love that, man. Your reward to me is twofold. One, become a VIP inside DFSArmy.com. Follow the link in the comment section of this video or the articles or whatever, and use the code CHOP, C-H-O-P, for a 10% discount and become a member. Come into these Slack channels where we talk all the time. That's what you're getting. You're getting all the tools, you're getting all the optimizers for all the sports and all of the coaches. You get all that for $40 a month. It's freaking ridiculous. I know sites that charge $100 a month and don't teach you shit. They just give you lineups that barely hit the 50-50s. What a ripoff. We have winners in NBA that have hit, $50,000 a couple of different times. We had 3 guys just 2 weeks ago chop up a $50,000 first prize for $12,000 each. We have, 6-figure winners in NFL. We know what we're doing, man. We've got multi-$1,000 winners in NHL this year. We know what we're doing, dude. You can't do this alone. I've had multiple people tell me that I used to do this with just looking at pen and paper and whatever else, and I need the help. I've got the help. Come inside and get the damn help. Check your ego at the door. Come in here and become better. And if in 6 months you've learned all you think you can learn, cancel. I don't give a shit. What I care about is that you owe it to yourself to investigate the information. You might just unlock the best value you've ever seen in your life. $40 a month, $35 a month if you use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. Unlock all these tools, man. Unlock this stuff. And again, follow me out on Twitter. Follow me inside DFS Army. It's your buddy Chopadong. Hopefully you got something out of that video tonight. Let's go rock the 9-game slate. Let's make a lot of money, guys. See ya.